everyone. Kelly Weber with Keller Williams here with Jean Marie Herron from Posse. Jean Marie, thank you so much for taking time today to meet with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So we did an interview years ago, and I'm starting back up with my weekly series. And I thought you would be the greatest person to start with, because your business and real estate really do sync together well. So Jean Marie is the owner founder of Posse. Want to tell us a little bit about you and your company?
Sure. So I started my company way back in 2005, and I decided on the acronym POSSE, which stands for Professional Organizing Solutions Serving Everyone. And what has happened over the years is my tagline is really especially for those who want to sell or dwell well. So in my almost 2 decades of working in residential organizing, I love working with people who are thinking about buying or selling and doing that whole dinner plate, if you will, of whole home decluttering. But there's also what I call living well, and aging in place. And for those who may not be ready to sell or downsize or minimize, there's also ways we can get them decluttered for a quality of life. And that also helps them do what I call move on a dime ready, should they decide, should something happen and they do want to go somewhere. But it's all about whole home decluttering, mostly in Bergen County and Lower Hudson Valley.
I think that's important that you stated that, because while, I talk a lot about real estate on these calls, it is a quality of life issue. And to know that, I'll throw an example. Somebody comes in and has a new baby, and now they have all this stuff, but yet they're not ready to move out of that 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. You could come in and help them. How about the people in my situation that have kids either going off to college or coming home from college, and need somebody to come in and help them organize their life or their new living situation?
Right, right. So I love to say, especially for those who want to sell or dwell well, because not everybody's ready, ready to go anywhere. But I love to get people down to what they love, use, and need, because that's when people, I think, are most comfortable and at peace in their own homes. And we all want to love where we live.
Absolutely. To me, my home is my safe haven. I like to close the door at the end of the day and not have to deal with the outside world. And I want it to be a comfortable space that I live in, whether
Yeah.
I'm staying there for another 25 years or whether I'm moving in a year.
Yes.
It's your home. So
Yeah.
what is the best way to, get stuff out of a house and, organize your home? I'm sure it's steps. You tell me what would be the best way for somebody to start?
Sure. So the way to start, I always say, is start now and start small and start in areas that don't pull on your heartstrings. So, everybody's aesthetic level of clutter or peace or serenity is different. But if somebody wants to begin to declutter their home for whatever their goal is for the moment, it is start now and start small. So it could be something as simple as setting an egg timer in the olden days, or you could say setting your watch for 5 minutes. And yep, there you go. And picking, it could be one medicine cabinet. It could be a sock drawer. It could be, the little table in the coffee table in the living room, just to kind of get the ball rolling and to start in an area of the home that you're not in regularly. That's not going to pull on your sentimentality. Like, you're not going to start with the pictures in the attic.
Right.
What you want to do is start with, I call them like the graveyards in a home. So what I mean by the graveyards
True.
would be like the attic, the basement, the garage, the areas where we kind of put things because we're not ready to make a final decision. So if you're
Or we don't
renovating
know
a
where to
living.
put them.
Exactly, exactly. So those are great areas to start. And if somebody has a lot of editing or refining to do, they can always do what I call a MAP, M-A-P-P, and it could be Master Action Property Plan. It's just a simple pen and paper or Excel spreadsheet where you start at the curb, just like you would when you assess a house, and you just write every room in the house and what you want to do in each room. And then you kind of have a master plan or a checklist. And then you could look at your calendar and the checklist each week and say, what little project or projects am I going to give myself this week?
So what I hear you saying is start small, because if you start looking at the house as a whole, I know for me, I'll go sit on the couch and, you know,
Right.
it's too overwhelming for me. So start small, pick a room, and if a room is too big, pick a drawer.
Yes, yes. So mini bites. So for example, if you open up your garage door and you close it because you take one look at it and you get overwhelmed, maybe you could just do the workbench. Or if you walk up to that attic and you look at all the strewn boxes, and same thing, you close the attic trap door. If you do one box a day, how many boxes have you done after a month?
You know, anywhere from 28 to 30.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like to say one box a day or one space away keeps the clutter at bay.
That is awesome. How do you feel about, I'm going to call them stations, maybe because I'm on Instagram looking stations as far as when you come in your front door for your keys, for your mail, for your shoes.
Yep. Yep.
Do you
So
have
those are,
people?
so we need to have processing stations or landing strips, just like, an airport or an airplane has a landing strip or a takeoff strip. You want to set up systems. And I love, we organizers have an acronym for system, SYSTEM, and it stands for saving you space, time, energy, and money. So
Oh,
when we systematize what we do, whether it's where we put our pocketbooks, our keys, and our wallets, whether it's the fact that we do laundry every Saturday morning or grocery shopping every Sunday afternoon or data entering after every business networking meeting, we're putting systems in place. And those systems in our home might also have a location. So the landing strip, when you walk in through either the garage door or the front door, might be a little foyer table, which has, a drawer for the wallet and the keys. It's deciding on a location or an address to give your items a home, because just like, a homeless person who doesn't have an address has no place to live, we want to give everything in our home a place to live so that we know how to find it. Because really, in its simplicity, being organized is knowing what you have and how to find it when you need it.
when you need it. I think you may need to come out and help my husband. So the best way to get stuff out of the house, do you believe in, I do see they have 3 boxes. What is it? Save, donate,
Uh,
and
Toss,
trust.
donate,
Yeah.
recycle. People have different boxes. Yeah. So every person is different. I don't do any selling, but people, if they can get $1 for something these days, they love that too. So there's a lot of great platforms out there to sell on. I say that with a word of caution
Yes,
in
of
terms
course.
of scammers and vetting, but there's when you begin the process of refining your home contents, it's all about sorting. So
Mhm.
the sorting in each home might be a little different. In most homes, it's typically donate, sell, recycle, toss, belongs elsewhere, and follow up.
Okay.
So, if you open up a dresser drawer and it's clothing, that clothing might be, again, some of it, if you don't want it, might be donation worthy. Some of it, if you paid a lot of money and it's got a brand name on it, you might want to sell it. Maybe you want to give it to your sister in the next town. Maybe what it really needs is to go to the dry cleaners in order to be repaired, because you're not going to wear it until the button's fixed. So you have to look at everything and decide what is the decision, because a lot of decluttering is actually about making a decision, because that thing is not going to go anywhere until a decision is made.
I agree. And here, again, I'll say I started, wanted you on for real estate purposes and people relocating or selling but honestly, listening to you, I think everybody should be using you, whether it's, for dwelling in your own world, learning how to organize your life in your home. And like you said, clothing. I can't tell you how many pieces of clothing that needs to be hemmed or has a rip that could go to that's just sitting on a bench. It's just organizing your mind, and which will in turn organize your time.
Yes, and time is a huge component. Like a lot of people feel that decluttering is all about, I'll say, getting rid of things in their space, but there's a huge time management component to it. And some people are overwhelmed and paralyzed and they don't start because they think either it's going to take them way longer than it does, or they're not going to be able to do it by themselves. But it is the decision-making process that catapults whatever happens to those
That's
things.
awesome. So let's bring it back to real estate for the time being. So
Yep.
if a homeowner is looking, even if it's a year out and is paralyzed and doesn't know what they should do, what is the best advice you would give that person who has 30 years of life in their home? To where should they start?
Great question. The first thing to do is ask them to breathe,
Yeah.
because 30 years of stuff is a lot.
Yeah.
So depending on where they are in like, are they working full time? Are they retired? Do they have any physical limitations? What kind of time and energy do they want to place? I love a year out because I really feel, honestly, most homes in Bergen County need a year
Yes.
to properly prepare for the project, because that's what this is. It's Project 101. So, we talked about starting small and starting in areas that doesn't include their daily lifestyle. But I think that creating a plan, I talked about the map, simple, could be simple paper and pen, or a digital list of walking outside your home and putting a blindfold on and pretending you were looking at your house for the first time ever, or that you were a stranger and you were thinking, I might want to buy this house. What do I see? And then going through every space in the home and writing down what the homeowner or the client feels needs to be done in order to either get the home ready for market or make them feel properly prepared to leave it in
Right.
broom swept condition. Because even though the house is going to be sold, the bottom line is, as soon as the house is sold, they only have X amount of weeks to leave it in broom swept condition. So making a list is really terrific. But what's really important is that once they know what they want to do in order to prepare for this project, is they have to take out a calendar and they have to work backwards. So using that year as an example, so it's August of 24, let's say they want to be on the market by August of 25. What I do, it's sort of like a math game, is I look at the home, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what kind of storage space do we have? And I break it apart based on how many months. So we've got 12 months to get ready. There's some things you're going to want to do in summer, some things you're going to want to do in winter. And we break it down to the space, who's responsible, is it mom, dad, is it the kids,
That's
whoever it
right.
is it the organizer? And then by when. So we actually develop a project like based on the calendar,
Plan.
and it's a plan. It's an action
And you
plan.
write it out for them, correct? You sit down and say, okay, this is what we're going to do in August. This is what we're
Yep.
doing in September.
If they want to, I love to do that. Some people, that overwhelms them. So, maybe we take it week by week. But yes, it's taking that whole house and breaking it down into manageable chunks. Just like I talked about, okay, let's set the egg timer or the Apple Watch for 5 minutes and do a medicine cabinet, and purge all the expired medications. We have to do the same thing with the entire house. So now we break down the entire house. over the, of course, we want to be done a little early. So if you want to go on the market by Labor Day, I'm going to get you there probably at the end of July. But yeah, it's just breaking it down by task, by the space, and who's responsible.
And it's wrapping your head around it and having the right mind, space, frame, mindset
Yes.
in order to do this.
Yep.
All right. So how do you determine what resources you would refer to people, or what resources, or how to get people to let go of things? I know that's another big thing with people. They want to hold on to things and they don't want to let go.
Great question. So I'm going to take that in two steps. Typically, what happens on the assessment, whether I do a physical assessment or I've been doing this for so long, often I just hear them on the phone, and with a couple pictures or even a FaceTime video walking me through the home. I glean from that what resources they need. So as they're walking me through the home on camera with photos or verbally, and I hear the content, I now know, okay, does Jean Marie need a junk removal truck? Does Jean Marie need a shredder? Does this client need a high-end real estate sale company? So during the assessment, I'm figuring out all of the different type of resources we need. If I walk into a room and I can barely see, I know we need an electrician. If I walk into a room and I see, water in the chimney, I know, we need a chimney person. So really what happens is during the assessment, I figure out all the different types of resources we're going to need. And because I've been in homes for so long, I probably have a vetted professional in my back pocket that I've already used that I can refer them to. But that's
That's
really,
important too, vetted professionals. That's how you and I ended up together. We have
that is
vetted professionals
right.
and just people we work with that are honest, trustworthy, and reliable.
Right. So you know, Kelly, as well as I do, that if somebody asks you or I for a moving company, we know exactly who we're going to recommend because we've been working with wonderful professionals for years. And we know that those folks that we recommend are really going to take care of our clients. The second part of that question is when they start to really have a hard time with letting go of things, I have to remind them of their goals. So for example, if somebody is in downsizing mode, and I know they're going from a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath in Bergen County to a 2-bedroom, 1-bath townhome, I know the square footage differential. So I know what storage space they might be gaining or losing. So I know that visual process, but I try to help them remember what is their goal. So if they're having a tough time, helping them remember that when you go, you might not have a garage, but you're going to be taking your grandkids to the pool every day. And my biggest question right now, because I won't force anybody to get rid of anything. I play devil's advocate and I encourage and I inspire and I'll find resources. But I love to say, do you want the stuff or do you want the space?
That's
Because
a
in many
great
situations,
question. Do you want
in
the
many,
stuff or the
yeah,
space?
because that's what it comes down to. So they're asking me to help them get organized, and the volume of the home might be too much for them. But then if they're not willing to let stuff go, I have to say to them, okay, let's remember our goals here. So do you want the things or do you want the freedom?
Right. Those are great questions. I have to tell you this, I could sit here and go on and on for hours with you. So I just want to stress that while we started this out as, as a realtor, I bring you in on things to help people downsize or bring them to new spaces and help them organize the new space. But it's not just for people buying and selling homes, it's for people living in their home and to make it a peaceful, safe, comfortable place. So, Jean Marie, your services are invaluable. And I hope tons of people watch this and reach out to you because I think you're amazing. And what you do for people's space is amazing.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank
You know
you
how
so
much I
much.
adore working with you.
And vice versa. So I will have your contact information put out there for everybody to get. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day today to spend with me. And I can't wait to go home and put little bins together, toss, keep, donate. So thank you very much.
You're welcome
And
anytime.
it's Posse, again, Posse Partners.
Yep. PossePartnersLLC.com. I'm very friendly. People can call me with questions anytime.
Perfect, Jean Marie. And again, like I said, it'll be out there for everybody to get. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can't wait to go home and organize.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
All
right.
right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Well,
Bye-bye.
okay.
You too.
Bye-bye.